Good morning, all of you. And my name is Jyotsna, and I'm very, very glad to be here and for this podcast. And there are certain things that we really wanted to explore. What are the interests of C20 groups and how the SDGs are relevant in C20? Because, if you look at Asia Pacific background and, the 2022 Asia Pacific Report on Sustainable Development talks that we will not achieve the SDGs until 2065. So in that case, I mean, there has been lots of efforts made by the governments and the civil society and various stakeholders, but still, where we are lagging behind. And then there was a COVID pandemic for a couple of years, and the world came standstill. So from all the scenario, we really wanted to take into account how the world is progressing, especially our region. And we have our very good friend here, Mr. Hamong Santano, who is going to answer some of the questions. And Hamong has a great experience in SDGs. And I know he has been extensively working on various aspects of SDGs. He has worked on, providing VNR inputs to the government. So it will be really, it's a privilege for me to ask Hamong certain questions. And I'm sure that Hamong has all the relevant answers, and he can provide a lot of explanation actually. So first, Hamang, could you tell me and my the audiences about your organization and about your work and your interest?
Yeah, thank you, Josna, and good morning, everyone. I hope my voice is very clear. So yeah, my right now I'm working at Penabulu Foundation, one of the NGO in Indonesia based in Jakarta. And, we have focus issues on development and democracy. And like the issue of public health, environment, and also the civic space issue. And as an organization, we still grow and try to evolve to be able to contribute meaningfully to the for the civil society, especially in Indonesia, through creating of enabling environment for the sustainability of NGO in Indonesia. And in the context of G20 and Civil 20, our organization is involved in some working group like vaccine and health, SDGs and humanitarian, and also education, digitalization, and civic space. That's the big, general picture of our organization, Penabulu Foundation. Yes, now.
Thank you so much, Amang.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's nice to know that the enabling environment, because ultimately these are impacting there is a lot of actually relation between enabling environment for civil society and the implementation of SDGs and the whole impact with the G20 and C20 group. I think it's high time that we raise such issues in G20 and C20 voices. So related to that, I move forward and I ask, so how do you think that the international spillover influences many countries to achieve SDGs goal?
Yeah, I think yeah, we if we refer to the to the SDGs index report published by UN SDSN, I think uh, there are a big challenges for every country to achieve the SDGs, and if we look at the, the report, I think it's a good report in the context of every stakeholder, every country can see their position, their challenges in the context to achieve the SDGs with the standard measurement. I mean, rich country or low income country using same standard. That's the one of the point. I think it's how we see the report itself, and then with that report, I think it will help us to not us. I think it will help country to become accountable to their citizen, to their public about yeah, because SDGs is based on agreement. Is it about promises from the head of the government to the all of people in the world, and also yeah to the citizen in their countries. So yeah, with the SDGs index report, the country yeah, it's helped the country to become accountable, because I think there is a few countries that already provide the report achievement of SDGs. I mean, accountability of the country to the public, to the citizen is very limited until now. Yes, there is a mechanism of voluntary national report, but I think it is the different approach. It's coming from it's bottom up process. I mean, for the country, each country report to the global, but with the index report, it is like the country to the people, top down approach, accountability. And I hope in the future every country can give update, give the progress, give the challenges that they face in the context to achieve, in the context to implement and achieve the SDGs. I think it's the point with if we are look at the accountability, and since 2030, I think the SDGs index report give us more insight, which is the report put the spillover index as as analysis to know how the situation of SDGs in the world and in its country more details. That's just
Thank you so much, Amang. Yes, the accountability to the citizens, accountability to their own people is very, very important. That's a great point that you have raised. Something which is missing in SDGs, if and you rightly say, if it was in place, we would have in a different position. But and we with over the this is I think this is 2022. This is the eighth year of actual implementation, and it was disheartening to see. I mean, when we are not moving, we are not progressing, and governments they really do not want to be accountable, because the VNRs, I mean, we have seen in many countries that how the governments are using VNR to showcase their achievements, but they don't talk about they don't talk about the challenges, what the hardship, what are the missing links, they don't talk about it. So when any government chooses to showcase their achievements in the New York, and again in the VNR, when again you see, Hamang, there is no accountability, because Indonesia actually presented for the third time, right? But not it's not yet presented for the third time. But what we have seen over the years, that the government, what they present in the first time, in the second time there is no progress, there is no monitoring. They are not able to show how they progress from the last reporting to this reporting. So again, accountability is again missing there. So I think that's the basic problem. And SDG 16, which talks about accountability, and governments do not want to report on SDG 16. So there are very few countries who have actually reported on SDG 16. I mean, you see, I think we civil society people, we have more expertise and skills, but I'm sure the governments also have equally good skill, but why don't they admit it? Obviously it's matter of their prestige, that they do not want to show their challenges, or the critical issues, right? So I think it's a very, very good point, that accountability, and how we bring in that kind of accountability. It's a very, how was the role of civil society? And again, I go to your first point of enabling environment for the civil society, because when the right to speech is restricted, then a lot of things actually get affected. So thank you so much for that. And
maybe I would like to add some about this issue. I think the the report like SDGs index give us standard measurement. So I mean, in India, in Indonesia, using the same standard, not different measurement. Maybe each country will say, yeah, it's not really correct, the index report, because the measurement is different. Yeah, but where is your report?
Absolutely.
As a country? Yeah. So if the SDGs index report using a different measurement, that's the time, that's the opportunity to each country to discuss with UN, SDSN, how to resolve the issue of measurement. That's the point, because the country like Indonesia, for example, I heard before in 2021 that they said SDSN using different measurement. Yeah, but where is your report? You have an obligation to write the report and share to all of the public, all of the citizens in Indonesia. And I think it's the same situation in other countries like India.
Very well articulated, Hamang, because government do not want to adhere to such measurement, and they do not want to, because this and here comes the issue of political will, willingness, political will,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So very well. So moving forward, I would ask something else. I mean, what do you think, what are the challenges that the rich or the or the high income countries or the low income countries are facing um, in order to achieve the SDGs, or some of the SDGs where they are being regressed? So what are the challenge that you see, the difference between the rich and poor countries?
Yeah, overall, it's like other reports, happiness report, and another reports are related to development, the achievement of development in the rich country, in high income country is better than middle income or low income country. But this is the interesting one of the interesting report from interesting insight from the SDGs index report. They put the spillover index. It's like in economics, like externalities, like I'm not economist, but I heard that there are positive externality and negative externality. But in the context of SDGs report, we can see if we read the report, there is a contradiction between achievement of high income country to the SDGs and their spillover index. I mean, maybe the rich country, the high income country, already achieved in some goals of SDGs, but what they did, based on the report, gave a negative impact, negative spillover to the middle income or especially to the low income country. For example, this is just illustration. If the country if the rich country using the electric car, that's green, more green than but they use resources from the middle income or the low income country. That's the estimate. So I mean, based on the report, the achievement of SDGs in the rich country, it will give some implication, and mostly negative implication to the low income country. That's the situation. But in contrast, the achievement of SDGs in middle income or low income countries low compared with the high income country, but the spillover index relatively more high than rich country. That's the not the problem, the challenges. I think this is the situation. How we resolve this. How the rich country can achieve of SDGs without given negative impact and negative spillover to the low income or middle income country. That's the big challenge right now in the context of SDGs implementation. And yeah, this is the I don't know how to tackle the challenges, this challenge. But I think we have to move, not move. We are maybe we try to focus on goal 17, global partnership, how we define it and how we implement the issue, because spillover index not only about there is a lot of dimension like social, environment, and financing, and also security issue, that it's not easy how to we can take all the issue, right? Especially right now, we know that there is a war and food price, potential food crisis because the price of food itself. So many challenges for the world.
Very well, Hamang. Yes, the negative spillover, that's a very well used word, because the development of the rich country at the cost of the poor or the low income countries. I mean, who they are facing the brunt, the middle income countries. And that's very important, because when they are using resources from us, and also lots of resources are being exported, lots of raw materials actually being exported to the rich country, and the poor country actually they create debris and again send them to the poor country. So I think there's a whole issue, there's a whole debate on that. And you also very well you talked about the financing. I think financing is very important, because definitely there's an issue of finance. And now we also knew that even the government, even the United Nations, they also had the issues of finances, and they were struggling actually to implement many programs because of the financial crunches. So allocation of finances for the SDGs, and and there has been also talk about how the rich they give that 0.7% of the finance for the SDGs. But is it happening? I mean, how many countries are actually adhering to that? So absolutely, these are very complex issues. But we will also say that this also depends on I mean, we'll go back to discussing to the same old discussion that the political willingness of the government, and they do not want certain countries to accelerate their progress. I mean, for example, Bhutan is such a small country, and Bhutan say we are actually almost 0% carbon emission emitted country, but we are actually facing the brunt of all those pollution around because of what's happening around. So the small countries are actually at the they are even they are not they are not contributing to the pollution, but still still they are they are facing very challenging times. And Southeast Asia, for example, I mean, I was just reading somewhere that how the Mekong River Dam and this kind of projects are uh, negatively impacting the whole development process. People could be displaced. It can actually create a lot of conflict within people to get more resources. So I think it would be and that's why, I mean, when we heard that SDGs would not be achieved until 2065, then what are we discussing? I mean, what we are waiting for, 20, what post 2030? So I think it's very important. And in that regard, I would ask maybe the last question. I mean, how do you think that the world can accelerate progress towards achieving the SDGs of the 2030 agenda?
Yeah, before the pandemic, we already had a lot of challenges, like you said before, including that issue, debt trap for the low income country to the high income country, and then the issue of natural resources, the issue of natural resources curse by who have who had by the mostly the low income country, and the tax issue. It's so many issue, and how to address this issue in the context of SDGs is, I think, it's very very big challenges. And right now, 2 years we had pandemic, the achievement of SDGs was set back. Maybe similar like 10 or 15 years ago. And so, I mean, the challenges become more bigger. And after pandemic, we still has the challenges. I mean, the geopolitics of the world is unpredictable. This is the big challenge, still very and we only have right now maybe a 7 or 8 year until to the 2030, very limited time. So in the context of the situation, I think G20 is one of the opportunity. G20 has a power to drive, to give an guidelines how the world can tackle, can resolve all of the challenges, including the development issue, poverty, inequality, environment issue. Because if the situation is still similar like today, very hard for us to achieve the world to achieve the SDGs target. So G20 have give more attention. What is their commitment to the SDGs? What is the commitment of rich country to the low income country in the context of development assistant, for example. What is their what is the their consumption in the rich country, and also their production. It's the issue that I hope G20 can play an important role, because in the context of this, we only have limited time, and in the context of that, I think again we have to look at in the goal 17, and especially it's this including you, Jetsna, as ADA, it's Asia Development Alliance, to look at the goal 17, the achievement, the progress, and what we call to resolve the big challenges by through goal 17. And yes, policy coherence is very important. It's we have to put it as a high call to the country who to the G20 members. So the balance between low income and high income country, how to achieve the global challenges can be not resolved. I think can be identified, and trying to we have a step to how to resolve the situation, because very hard for us now to achieve the rich country still have, high income country has their own problem. Low income country, middle income country has their own problem as well. So G20 and especially the role of the CSO in the civil 20 is very important. How to push this issue as one of the critical point of G20 debate. I think it's there is no exact solution. I think it's very dynamic, very complicated. But we have still an opportunity to resolve some of the challenges. That's just it.
Thank you so much. You actually highlighted a lot of important, very important aspects. Apart from finance, I mean, there are systemic issues. There are issues of the issues of policy coherence. I think because and surprisingly, not many people are still discussing about the policy coherence or policy incoherence. I mean, we discuss a lot among the civil society, but when it comes to the government, they do not even think that it's important to discuss the policy incoherence. What are the promises that they've made in Agenda 2030 or within the Paris Agreement, and how they are deviating from that? And if you, so I think there's some one major silo, I would say, that people, government are reluctant to talk about the coherence. And obviously, as you rightly say, that the role of G20 is very important, and we have to maximize our presence. And I'm very glad that the G20, Indonesia, C20 has, taken up the issues of SDGs and humanitarian, and you all part of that. So I believe that we can actually maximize our presence, and we can, as you rightly say, that we may not achieve the SDGs until 2030. I mean, but at least we can make our effort, and goal 17 is very important, where we remind the governments, and that's is very important to have the multi-stakeholder partnership, and work in collaboration with each other, so everybody's role is very important. So with that, thank you so much, Hemong, and
Yeah, yeah,
uh, this
yeah.
this
Just not. I think yeah. This is the technical, not the yeah, operational discussion. I mean, we now we know the challenges, but how to resolve in the context as we in the context as civil society, as NGO. The discussion of paradigm shift of international development, I think we have to put it on the table in the CSO discussion. I mean, and ADA, Asia Development Alliance, one of the group that can help, that can organize that issue. Paradigm shift, power shift. I think it's very, very, very important in the context of international development, and of course, because after Indonesia, India will become a leader of G20. So how we can work together between among CSO, especially Indonesia and India, to continuing the debate, the discussion. That's very important, and I believe that we can do that, because we have an experience, we have a knowledge, and we have a good network to the government, to the CSO, and so on. That's my last point.
Yes, very well said, because it's coming to India. India is going to host next year. So you rightly hammer that we need to keep this discussion going on. We need to keep working group, we ensure that this continues in the next G20 presidency from Indonesia to India. So anything else that you would want to still add, some point, that how to keep our discussion alive, and how can we move forward, if you have some last minute solution, or any your thoughts.
Yeah.
Not solutions, sorry, I mean your thoughts.
Okay, Jetsna, thank you.